versus Furia. Take it away.
We'll take it away here, Yeso. Something I wanted to talk about this matchup a little bit is that is these two mid lanes. I think there's big carry potential in the top lane, but in draft specifically, I want to talk about mid lane. Annie is a hotly contested pick between these two middle laners, but the way they play this lane is very, very different. I think Tut's Annie a lot stronger. He has better lane statistics, and I think that they should lock that one in early. Of course, we've seen the Kai'Sa, Xayah coin flip. Both those champions are up out of the first ban phase, Yeso.
Yeah, I think another important thing to note, though, is that the fact that so many mid laners have really moved away from Annie over the last 3 to 4 weeks. It has really dropped out of favor. So much focus on things like the LeBlanc, the Lissandra popping up since her buffs, the Aatrox coming out last weekend. The Ahri remains incredibly popular, as well as things coming up like the Azir. So it really feels like the mid lane meta has moved away from that Annie, but we'll see, because I agree with you. Both of these mid laners have shown up on that pick. Tuts especially. I mean, I was one of the early proponents of like a Tuts MVP campaign with the way he was playing through the first 3 or 4 weeks, specifically on that pick. The first pick, though, for Furia is going to be the Rel. Has been very popular as of late, and we have been seeing it flexed into the jungle a little bit as well.
We certainly have, and that makes it a better first pick in my opinion. I also think Rel and Kai'Sa are both in the same shelf in terms of like tier champion. You could put Kai'Sa above Rel, I think, but the Rel is certainly a little bit more flexible with who they can play with, and of course the roles you can occupy there too. And yeah, I like this Rel first pick. I think it makes a lot of sense, and I think it's some much needed power that the Furia bot lane have been lacking for the last few weeks. Aatrox is going to be locked in. Could be for Gravatar, could be for Vigo. We've seen Aatrox go either way.
Yes, we have an important note that Brazil continues to be very willing to blind pick Kai'Sa with Xayah available, and it's something that multiple casters on our team have not been fans of. RMC definitely one of the biggest, you know, proponents of like, you can't do this into Xayah. It's such a rough matchup. Doesn't look like they have to play it here. And in the green room, Max, man, we were talking about maybe where the spicy picks, where teams might bring out something interesting in terms of champion select would happen today. Felt like you kind of had game 5 circled as maybe an opportunity for that. Furia's not going to make you wait till game 5, my friend. We got Neela and Pyke coming through for Furia.
Best possible opening move I could have hoped for Furia. It's not too weird. It's nothing too crazy. Stuff they've played before, and stuff that's proven on Summoner's Rift for other teams as well. Xayah gets Pyke. IU gets a pick he can actually work with, and Goot gets a champion that he can engage with and set up plays for. I think this is very, very solid draft opening for Furia. I think VK has got a lot of big power picks, and things are looking really solid going into the second half of this draft. Really excited for this one. Let's see if we can't get some bans out here. VK has that Gwen taken away. I think that locks Aatrox in the mid lane, actually. I don't think you're going to ban champions away if you're planning on taking out the top lane. I don't think there's too many Aatrox counters you have to worry about.
And really interesting to see Furia electing to reveal very quickly that they are, in fact, putting that Rel in the jungle, not saving it as maybe an interesting flex later or an adjustment in the second phase of picks. They grab that Pyke with B3 and say, yep, Goot's going to get the Rel here. We're going to hold off on our solo lanes here till the second phase, and that's why you do see that Gwen banned there. Of course, a champion that Gigo has been very, very good on this split, has been a premier champion for him. The Fiora going to be the other ban away. Okay, a Fiora ban kind of actually makes me switch back, because I was with you there, but that feel like, okay, this is an Aatrox top, and they're trying to ban away some of the picks maybe he has some trouble with.
Could be. We'll certainly see. Moving forward here, love that Azir ban. I feel like Azir could be really solid for either team. But that does kind of, push me towards the Annie for Tuts. I know it hasn't been meta in a long time, but you look at Furia's draft and tell me they're going for meta picks. I don't know what you're talking about, right?
Well, well, that, and like they've picked a very all-in composition just in their first 3 picks, right? Pyke, Rel, and Neela all want to go in. They want to dive the back line, and Annie helps you with that, right? Flash Tibbers to set up for all of that engage is incredibly strong, so it makes a lot of sense, but it's going to be the Nico, which I would argue in the current meta is even better for that. It is going to be all in for Furia with the Nico and possibly a Kennen locked in.
Wow.
They want to scrap.
Mattel's had a weird Kennen. He's not always got the best positioning on it, but he does really, really well in lane. I think this is a solid pickup for him into the Aatrox. Honestly, big team fight ultimates are what Furia need to win with this composition. They locked in two of the better ones here at the end of the draft. Really solid so far. Of course, it doesn't look the best if you're looking at the meta, but I mean, Furia don't perform well when they pick meta, in my opinion. VKS locking in some strong picks here as well. Not sure how good the buy is for Grell, and he'll be really on the back foot, I think, going into this one. And I mean, Nila's going to be pretty close range for most of these fights anyway. I don't know how much he needed that buy ultimate.
Yeah, an interesting pick up there, but it does end up, of course, with that Ahri at R4, that we do get the Aatrox top lane for Gigo. Definitely a ton of carry potential for him in this pick, and that has been something that has paid off for VKS when Gigo has had agency, when he has been able to be really a force in games. VKS has done a lot of great things, but the conversation has always come back really to Grell. Rude dude, he has been kind of the pivot point for this team, whether they win or lose, as we come out of Champion Select and get ready for our first game of the day. And of course, Furia trying to make miracles happen. What are your thoughts here?
Now, a reminder, we have two teams with two different agendas here. VKS, yes, looking to fully lock themselves playoffs, but more so looking to secure themselves a top 4 placement. They need a win here, and this draft, I think, gives them a good opportunity at doing that. Furia, they not only need a win to get into playoffs, but they need to destroy VKS's entire mental, entire game plan, and have this game sewed up and literally be hitting the Nexus at 15 minutes into this game. 33-36 is the golden timer for combined game time for their wins in the back half of this season. It's going to be very difficult for Furia to get there, but they have picked the most quintessentially Furia draft that we could have probably ever seen. We've got Nila and Pyke down on the bot side of the Rift, and I can't wait to see this game unfold. Yay, so Axeman, guide me through.
Thank you so much, Rudude. Ready for our first game of the final weekend of the regular season, folks. We're staring down the barrel. I mean, we got less than 10 days of 10 game days left in this CBLOL split. It is crazy to think about, and of course, we're about a month away from selecting a representative to go to Worlds for this CBLOL. And I want to remind you folks, just in case we weren't clear about it earlier, that 33-36 time that we're talking about, that's not like if Furia wins both of their games, in 30 minutes and they're fun. Both games combined time must be 33-36 or less. That means essentially 2 16.5-minute wins that Furia needs, and VKS needs to lose both games, and that can get Furia in playoffs. It is a monumental task that Furia has ahead of them, but where there's a hope, Furia maybe can snatch victory from the jaws of defeat. Early wards here as they get a little bit of an invade, and it is going to be the blue steal here for Goot. The question will be, can he get back and maybe get the 3-camp start and contest Grell at his own blue buff? We'll keep an eye on that.
Certainly will here. They'll catch him out on a ward walking back. Goot looking for more, though. This will put Grell firmly behind and force him off of a level 3 gank bot side, which is very important.
So this is really interesting that Grell, they had all the information, and Grell immediately decides he wants to go contest Goot, or maybe catch him out. The VKS bottom lane has roamed up. Grepthar is here as well. Goot is going to be able to flash away, but the Grand Entrance does catch 2 here as Tuts and Goot have to retreat. VKS not going to get the kill, but they will get out the Summoner spell from the Furia jungler here, and now Grell's going to go for an invade of his own, confident that the damage that they were able to secure there means that Goot can't contest here, and Grell can even things out. He could have just gone for the vertical jungling, but he was looking to get maybe a little bit more here, as and IU will get down to the bottom lane.
Yeah, Furia start with an open gambit, and it's wildly successful. VKS trying to answer. They don't get anything back. And really, really good start for Furia. I think IU's going to stay in lane for most of this, too. Continue hitting minions in a matchup that he doesn't really win in lane, right? And that's really positive for him. He gets a couple minis up, gets a little bit of control over the bot side. He's going to get level 2 first. Gain some much-needed control over his own situation. Meanwhile, there's no threat of a level 3 gank from Grell. Not without them seeing it coming anyway. And yeah, just overwhelmingly positive for Furia. We're going to see Goot and Grell fight a little bit here, but just Goot's got double buffs, man.
Yeah, and this is really unfortunate, and, you know, in hindsight, the play looks terrible. I can understand the thought process from Grell there, but really that play only pays off if you kill Goot. If you kill Goot, then it's great. You can go for the invade. You can maybe even get, you know, a 3 buff of your own, but, you know, at best you get a kill and then you even out the buffs. But now, I mean, this is trivial for Goot to go back, go pick up his blue, and then he gets the 3 buff start. So, you know, high risk, low reward play there for Grell, and it hasn't paid off.
No, it hasn't paid off whatsoever. This is what I like about the younger teams, the innovation, the willingness to play different things. And we're seeing it really work well for Furia so far in this game. It'd be a shame to see him get locked out of playoffs. I know that more than likely that's what will happen, but love to see this team in a best of 5. I think it'd be so fun, and they just narrowly get locked out by one position. Cockrell out here.
And it's important when you talk about the ability for them to change the game in Champion Select, and it is first blood there. Goot coming up to contest at that topside Scuttle Crab. Tuts gets there first. That is first blood for the Nico. A great start here for Furia.
Really
Back to the bottom lane there. Zai's taking a lot of damage. Battle Dance will get damage out of trouble, and VKS bottom lane holding their own. The hook will land. It is going to follow up with the stun.
That's it.
Not a lot of coolness there for damage, and that's going to be IU picking up a kill in the 2v2.
Beautiful play so far. We've seen IU on Neela before. Doesn't have this level of success this early in the game. Normally have to wait till later skirmishes for the Neela to start popping off. Seeing it this far ahead, this early in the game, very, very encouraging for Furia. They can control the bottom side of the map with this setup so far and look to stack dragons. Yeah, I'm liking this, man. I wish we got this Furia all split long. I know they had a weird kick where they tried to play to the meta, tried to play champions that were a little bit more standard, and we got Zai a bunch of games off of Pike, and I gotta say, I wish we could go back in time and just play the champions that they're strong with and really see how far Furia could have climbed.
Yeah, it is important to note that, you know, those 2 wins that Furia has in the second half of the split, they came last Saturday against Kaboom and the Sunday prior against INTZ. And that, you know, hey, that INTZ win, a quality victory, but those are the only 2 games they've won in the back half of the split. They're looking to make it 3 here today, and I love the recognition from the bottom lane here. Zai's going to get up. It's going to be another hook onto damage. He is able to get the grand entrance over the wall to get to safety. Does not cost him his exhaust. Didn't have this flash available. And Zai and Goot maybe looking to make a little something more happen here. They're going to spot out that pink ward drop by damage, and Grell and Trigo here to back him up as Grell looking to walk into the river here. Hook from Zai will miss, but that is going to be Grell landing the Q, and Goot and Zai have to back away.
And IU the whole time just sitting down that bottom lane, up 10 CS now over Trigo on what is the game's best marksman, Kai'Sa, right? Very interesting position. Of course, he's back in the lane with the BF sword here too, so really hitting like a truck. He's chosen to turn that lead into raw damage. It makes this a very, very dangerous lane.
Yeah, keep an eye, because Zai is going to be looking to land any hook he can, and, you know, if they're able to force the battle dance off of damage, that is such, you know, that's the primary disengage mobility for Rakan. You can use Grand Entrance, but the speed is much easier to deal with, and not having those 2 charges on your E makes you a lot less safe as a Rakan. So keep an eye on those cooldowns. Let's check back in with this top lane as we take a peek at Gigo. Talk to me about this Kennen Aatrox matchup on the top side, Axeman.
Yeah, Gigo's the only member of VKS that's actually up a little bit in this lane here, so maybe a bright light at the end of the tunnel for VKS. Obviously nothing too major has fallen out for them yet, but the Aatrox matchup seems very solid. Once again, I'm looking forward towards the skirmishes. I'm thinking Furia might have the edge there. There's not as much pick potential, but the team fight is absolutely wild for this team.
Good hook there. The beautiful Apotheosis catches both of them. Damage will flash under tower. Burning from the Ignite. It's going to be just not quite enough to take him down. Killer Instinct will get Trigo out of trouble for the time being. Whoa, we're fighting up in the top side river. Beautiful ultimate there from Tuts. Will catch two. I don't know why. Grell and Greftar are going back in here. Goot dismounted, backing away. Greftar and Grell will survive. A great ultimate there from Tuts. Oh, back into the mid lane. Zai has arrived, and
Boom.
That is him coming from the depths to take out Greftar.
Big gold lead now for Furia. Excellent stuff. They're going to start controlling the objectives as well. Get these turret platings off of the turrets, Yeso. And Furia are off to the races, looking like a team absolutely possessed. We haven't seen games like this from Furia in a really long time.
It has certainly been a minute, because even if you go back to, right, the INTZ and Kaboom games that they won recently, if memory serves, those were very tightly contested games, and I think Kaboom and INTZ took early leads. Here's Zai, though, getting into the mid lane to catch out Greftar and pick up that kill, and nothing you could do there, my friend.
No, not a single thing. Execute is big, big damage. Of course, spreads that gold around a little bit too. Tuts way up in gold now. Over Greftar, doing really solid. Everybody on Furia is doing spectacularly. Just Bitao going even so far into Gigo. And it's on VKS to make the comeback. Once again, haven't seen Furia like this in a really, really long time, but we saw him at the start of the split have lots of games like this.
That's going to be the engage on the Tuts. Zai has arrived here for a little bit of assistance. He's going to be able to lock down this Vi here, and that's actually going to be Tuts picking up the kill. VKS thought they had the Nico caught, but it was just the bait from Furia. Bitao, meanwhile, going to caught a little bit here in the top lane. That is going to be the slicing maelstrom coming through, but a lot of sustain here onto Gigo. Can Bitao escape? Huge damage there. Will force the flash out, but Ayu, Goop, and Zai have arrived, and the Aatrox is in trouble. Gigo will flash to get under tower, but you cannot escape Zai's pike. That is 5 kills for Furia.
Zai's in full form now on the pike. He's roaming around the map. He's last hitting solo laners. This is what you want from your pike one trick on your team. He's coming through in full force, so finally some Zai action.
Tick, 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 tick. The clock continues to march ever onward, Axeman. Furia, I mean, they're building a pretty big snowball here, but it's got to get moving even quicker if they want to make this magical playoff berth happen. But I'll tell you what, through 11 minutes, they've done what they needed to get done here. Gigo possibly going to get caught once again. Hook going to come through, pulls him back. The stun to follow up. Gigo is just getting bullied here as Goop picks up another kill for Furia.
Fancy Rift Herald would be absolutely wild here, so I don't think they're going to get it. But 2 turrets is about as much as you could hope for off of this push, right? Grell going to trade back the Dragon on the other side of the map. The Bitao pushes down the side lane turret as well. Lots of plating going down for Furia. They're massively increasing this lead. I don't know about 16 minutes yet, so I don't know if it's going to happen. But
I know.
Seeing Furia play a good game feels so good, man. As someone who believed in this team for so long, seeing them find a way back to the way they were before is so encouraging for these young players. Look at this play, man. So expertly executed.
Clearing all of their CC. Nothing that Gigo could do. No flash in his back pocket meant that as soon as that first hook landed from Zai, he was in big, big trouble. Ayu leading the way in the gold department. Huge lead there for the Nila. But unfortunately, just might be too little too late for this Furia team. 12.5 minutes in, and they've got to make some magic happen here very soon. Grelin damage on their way down to this bot lane as Gigo has rotated down here to protect this tower, and looks like VKS starting to group in this bot side, maybe looking to play around this Drake that is not coming for a while, as I double check what the timer is on that one, but at least looking to protect. Gigo has been kind of put on blast here over the last couple of minutes.
Yeah, I would say so. Vital just gets to shove these waves in. So close into that inhib up top side. Incredible play here. We'll see. So the thing with VKS is that they have to contend with this ultimate team fight capability from Furia's composition, right? And that's not going to get better from them as the game progresses. They're essentially all on the front line, all really short range. They can't really play front to back into Furia's composition. They're getting flanked. They're getting these big ultimates dropped on them in these team fights. It's pretty doomed for them. And that gold lead, once again, massive for Furia. This one might be clinched, and again, that 60-minute time mark, I don't know about that, man. But this one looks really good for Furia. Looks like another dive onto Gigo here. Teleports come through.
Yeah, IU getting locked down a little bit. They are going to go for the dive there. They've got all the tools that they need to lock everybody down. So much damage onto VKS. This damage, Grepthor trying to dash out to safety, but Tau will get taken down. So VKS finally on the board. We'll see what they can do with it here as Damage and Grepthor looking to step back into this fight. They see these low health bars. They want that gold. They can almost smell the kills, but that's going to be flashes over the wall. Boot will get to safety. So with the rest of this Furia lineup, they just lose Batal. It's 1-for-1.
Yeah, 1-for-1 trading back top laners, but it's close. Like you mentioned, low health bars for everybody. Tut's going to walk up here. He's going to show his low health bar. Catches Trigo out the cleanse.
Yeah, looking to maybe dash in. Was thinking about it. Let's take a look back at the replay. Coot leading the way. Teleport comes in, and VKS has to respond.
Honestly, it's so close for Gigo here, but just the ultimates get dropped on him, man. You see Apotheosis there bumping him around. Really just gets thrown in the spin cycle. Incredible damage is able to make it out of this fight at all. And the IU kind of getting trapped in this no man's land for a little bit there too. It's almost a disaster, but somehow for both teams.
Yeah, I mean, you said it. Furia is an absolute nightmare to team fight to. They come to the table with 4 ultimates that bring AoE crowd control. Oh, yeah. And then Zai just also has that in his base abilities. So, and then he's gonna, absolutely assassinate you with his ultimate. So you cannot group up against this Furia lineup, especially with a lead. They will absolutely delete you. I would say VKS lucky to escape with just 1 casualty in that dive. Grevthar going to get the push here and likely pick up the first tower for VKS here in this bottom lane. And unfortunately, it appears that that time is running out on Furia's season. We're at the 16-minute mark here, and while, any game that ends in less than 33-36 is technically possible, it is becoming less and less likely that Furia play past tomorrow in 2023.
Yeah. Really good form from so far this game. I think there's a comp they could have drafted that would have ended the game out sooner, but I think they just tried to draft for something that they could play and succeed on, which I certainly appreciate.
That is Gigo again. Ask here as Gigo is going to flash away. And Furia want to push here. They want to pressure this top lane inhibitor. They got those 2 towers early, but the wave clear will keep them at bay for the time being. They do have Rift Herb, which they will drop, and this is possibly Furia just going all out. Huge engage. They've caught everybody. BKS absolutely disintegrate in their base. Trigo able to get out of trouble. Gigo still alive. And Grevthar with the most minuscule health bar available. The From the Depths will not land here from Zai. They're looking for a dancing Rift. We'll see what they can do. It's going to charge in 1 Nexus tower down, but the waves have disintegrated. Can Furia stay? Pull will land onto Grepthar. No charm there for the Ahri, and Furia will have to go into a full retreat, but man, they're doing their damn here, Axe, man.
I'm so proud of these guys, so I got tears in my eyes, man. If you told me going into this game they'd be hitting Nexus starts at 17 minutes, I'm so proud of them, man. Oh, this is so cool. Check out the replay here. Gigo doesn't have a flash going into this fight. And Damage Grell, Grevthar, they all stack up on top of each other. Big engage here. You see the triple knock-up from Todd's follow-up from Bitao. It's all perfectly executed. And just Trigo and Gigo make it out. They take down the in-hit. They take down a Nexus turret. Oh, man. Yeah, sorry.
And I want to take a moment, Axeman, to look at kind of the year holistically here for Furia, because you go back to Split 1, and this is a team that was struggling, and they scraped into playoffs with a record of 9-9. They were in the lower bracket, and they had the deepest lower bracket run that we've seen from a team since we went to franchising, since we switched to this, upper bracket, lower bracket format in Brazil. And then the lineup changed big time. You lose your two premier solo laners to Red Candidates. You bring back a lineup of just like one player returned from last split. It's just Goop. Yeah. Everybody else wasn't playing on Furia last split. And while they may end this split disappointingly not going to the postseason, I think if you actually dig into the way that they played, some of the games that they showed this split, I think there's a lot that this team can be proud of and a lot for them to build on going into 2024.
Still trying to hear too. All 5 in the base now, but there's just too many things VKS can do to stall this game out. But yeah, just seeing them still try for this, man, and still believe is so incredible. A lot of teams are just hitting Dragon here, trying to play the long game, but they still believe, they still want it. This is the fight.
Oh, huge Magnet Storm will catch everyone.
They got it, man.
The CC. They're gonna get the damage, and they're probably gonna get the win. It's a triple kill there from Zai, and they're looking to kill the Nexus. They will take it out, and guess what? Furia still has a shot.
They still have a shot, man. I cannot believe it. It's got to be like a 14-minute, 30 game, something like that. But hey, this was undisputedly the fastest game in CBLOL this split by like 2 or 3 minutes, man. That's so incredible from Furia. I can't believe they did it.
Brew dude, I need just a first blush reaction. I mean, that's probably the fastest game in CBLOL we've seen in years.
To go find out.
Stats man, please.
See, yeah, literally. Less than 20, right? That was incredibly fast. From the get-go, right? They set it out in the draft. If we're going to win fast, we're going to do it with a composition that we know we can execute, and that we know wins 5v5s very early on. Pyke, as soon as he hits level 6, absolutely gorgeous execution from Zai across that entire game. And honestly, it's one of those situations where it wasn't even Furia were like trolling to make plays happen. They just absolutely slaughtered the Cade Stars there. It just wasn't even close. For one, we get to run highlights. This is beautiful because it's going to be maybe the shortest highlights that we've had, but not representative in any way of how absolutely insane that game was. So just shout out to Furia. Axe, I guess what comes next for Furia?
They make playoffs with a 14-minute game. I don't know what else to say. They're just going to run over some poor team, and they're going to go to best of 5s. I don't know, man. I feel so bad for giving up on them because they never did. And, yeah.
So,
sorry, guys.
We've just had confirmation. The fastest game of CBLOL before today was 20 minutes and 39 seconds. CNB versus INTZ. That just got taken maybe a decent minute off, maybe a little bit less than a minute. But again, when we're talking about such fine margins, the fact that it was anywhere near close to just being over a couple of seconds is definitely worth mentioning. I think Goot there, absolutely incredible on the engages, and the follow-up from Tuts and Betal this entire game long. The champion synergies were just through the roof this game, and it's on Furia to really know what they're doing.